Welcome to Technical Sales and Consulting's Training to Go e-learning series. Busway and bus plugs will be covered in this module. It is designed to provide product knowledge for all levels from beginner to expert. At the conclusion of this module, you can register to receive your certificate of completion. Be sure to take advantage of this opportunity to use this documentation as proof for your technical certification requirements or continuing education credits. Now let's get started. Before we get into reconditioning bus plugs, it is probably a good idea to go over the different plug-in configurations of some of the common brands. No doubt this could provide some knowledge when you're evaluating the repairability of a bus plug. It is important to note that these images are not all the same current rating, but will give you a good indication of the arrangements. First, here is the GE Type SL bus plug. Note that the configuration pattern of the phases are staggered. In contrast, here is the GE Type DE. The stabs are all in a straight line. Next up is the Square D Type PQ. This is a 3-wire plug arranged in a T style. The ITE BDF for the BOS busway has an inline phase arrangement. Again, to contrast that, you can see the Type UV for the XL-U busway staggers the phases. The Siemens SXID seen here is a 4-wire setup showing the ground and neutral connections. Federal Pacific LSP is seen here alongside the Type SP. Both have similar arrangement. Westinghouse made the TAP stabs all in line as seen here. By way of comparison, this shows the basic difference between a 4-wire and 3-wire Westinghouse TAP. The neutral connection is shown here. In this last image, you can see both the Westinghouse TAP and Federal Pacific SP. Do you notice any similarities? The SPs were actually branded by Westinghouse for Federal Pacific. In a pinch, the TAP can be a temporary substitute for the SP. Examining these stabs hopefully can increase your knowledge of bus plug. PEARL, or the Professional Electrical Apparatus Reconditioning League Standard Section 2000, covers busway and bus duct 600 volts and below. Let's take some time to review the section as it applies to reconditioning fusible bus plug-in units. The typical condition of a plug unit is received like this. The PEARL 7-point process provides an overview. Step 1 is incoming inspection and test. Step 2 is complete disassembly. Next is component-specific cleaning. Step 4 is component-specific reconditioning and/or replacement. Step 5 is reassembly to OEM specifications. Next is to perform the verification testing to OEM specifications. The 7th and final step is documentation and recording of all tests, inspections, reconditioning, assembly, and test verification. The process starts with inspecting all the components, which includes the frame, enclosure, operating mechanism, interphase barriers, arc extinguishers, arcing contacts, main contacts, the switch itself, current carrying components such as plug stabs and interlocks. The reconditioning process takes place during steps 2, 3, and 4. The bus plug is disassembled, parts are cleaned and allowed time for drying. This could include deoxidizing and removal of corrosion. Parts that are defective need to be replaced. Some parts may need to be degreased and replated. Parts that require painting are recoated. Finally, lubrication and adjustments are made. Assembly of the reconditioning components sub-assemblies is followed by final inspection and testing. The following test equipment is required to perform the testing requirements of this reconditioning standard. You will need an insulation resistance test set, or a mega ohm meter, 1000 volts DC minimum, and one of the following pieces of test equipment is required to perform the contact resisting testing requirements of this reconditioning standard. and that is a digital low resistance ohm meter, or DLRO. 10 amp unit will be sufficient, and a DC current source and a millivolt meter. As with all testing, inspection, and reconditioning operations, final inspection and test results are recorded on the evaluation and test forms included with the standard. If a Pearl certified technician follows the reconditioning standard, the plug-in bus unit is eligible for a Pearl reconditioned quality seal. Upon completing the process, the reconditioning unit now looks like this and is ready to be put back in service.